갔는데
And when I arrived there, the pastor there
목사님이
was very, very nice to me.
서울서는 잘 대해줘요.
So I said, oh, I'm going to live here.
고향 갔다 와서
I went home
다시 냉장
and
그걸 이제 그걸 붙여버리고 이제
went from my cart,
가져오는데
and I came back. But during that time, another pastor
다른
came.
목사님 왔는데
But when I went there,
내가 가니까
this pastor would not
물어보지 않고
ask about me. He wouldn't even tell me to come. So I said, well,
언제는 목사님들 보고 예수님
I didn't believe Jesus because of pastors.
나를 건지시는
I believe in Jesus because he saved me.
절대 난그 목사 사택 가서 먹고 자고
I can't understand people who go to the pastor's house and try and live off of him. So I don't like to live off of other people.
저는 그냥
So I rented a small room and stayed there by myself,
난 자립으로
to live by myself.
살라고 했었어요. 그래서 근데 그 바꿔 말했습니다.
Oh, actually, I said it wrong. The first pastor I met was very cold, but a short time later, another pastor came, and it was very nice. And he gave me a room, and he said, you can't go to anywhere else but stay here in this room while I'm here. So I stayed there, and it was wintertime, and I sold peanuts, and even then, there were a lot of miracles.
또 여름철에는 그 여름철에 저는
And during the summer, at another church, I didn't want to bother the pastor and his wife. So I didn't sleep in their house, but I slept in the temple, in the church. But, in the church, there's so many mosquitoes. If I wake up in the morning, my face will be all swollen from being bitten by mosquitoes. And yet, I didn't go into the pastor's house. And I just sold peanuts and bought whatever I needed. I sold clothes, I sold iced tea, I sold a lot of things. Even though I was a son of a rich family, I tried everything. I even went to an orphanage and worked there. Yet, I never had any hatred to my parents, even to my father. I always wanted my father to accept God and Jesus. Sometimes I even wrote a letter, my last will, and I wanted to die, and I said, when I die, please, Father, believe in Jesus. So when it's my parents' birthday or special occasion, I would send money and write a letter. And if I sent a letter with money, he would get the money and throw it and say, who told him to send money to me? I heard that he did that. But even though I heard that he threw the money, I knew my father still loved me. Later, my father cried. I saw my father crying. He never cried. Even when one of my brothers died, he didn't even shed a tear. And after the funeral, he came and he ate a lot of food. I don't know if he was upset, but he still didn't cry. I saw him crying for this son. That time, that was the biggest test I ever had in my life. If he had just beaten me, it would have been better. But instead, he was crying in front of me, and I felt like asking for forgiveness and giving up. That was the hardest test. He said, I only trust in you. You're the most obedient out of all of the children, and how could you do this to me? And when he cried, my heart was so weak. And yet I prayed and I made it through that test. That was my last test. And it was the strongest test. So even though my father threw the money I sent him, I knew he loved me. So whenever it's the holidays or the birthday, he knew that there would be money waiting for him. He thought that I wouldn't be able to leave the house and live well, but I was living well. So though he couldn't show that he was happy with me, I knew that he loved me. And one time when I visited him, he said, how long are you going to be going around like this? I could have said, oh, because you kicked me out of the house, but I didn't say anything, and I was about 25 or 26.
근데 그래서 너도 이제
And he said,
머리가 크더라 않고
you're all grown up now. Aren't you going to get married? So I said, no, I'm not going to get married. You know what my father used to tell me? It's because you don't know what money is. Once you get married and have a wife and children, then you'll know what money is. So you have to go through a lot of suffering with a wife and children. Then you'll know the value of money. And so I thought that my father was trying to do this to me. So I told him I wasn't going to get married. I said, if I have enough money to make someone happy, then I'll get married. But right now, I don't have anything. I don't want to make anyone unhappy, so I'm not going to get married. But my father said, no, I will give you your inheritance. Get married. Later, my father knew. He knew my heart. He thought that I was believing in a God of the West. And so I became unfilial and disobedient. But he realized that I was still obedient to him. But I really wanted to obey him, but I was strong in my religion. And because I loved Jesus, I disobeyed him. But he knew that I loved him. So he said later, you can marry anyone you want. I will accept her. In other words, it's okay if you marry a Christian. He could not even accept his own son who was being a Christian, but he was willing to accept a daughter-in-law who was Christian. That means his heart had melted and he loved me. And when I was about to get married, I planned for my wedding to be in church. And so my father came to church to attend my wedding. That's a miracle. He would never go to church, but he hated church too. But the fact that he came to my wedding, which was held in church, was an amazing miracle. So before I got married, I said, Father, because it always bothered me that I disobeyed him and dishonored him. So I said, Father, I want you to make me a promise. What's that? Well, I'm going to get married soon. I'm your third son. If you promise me that you will live with me after I get married, then I'm going to get married. But if you say that you're not going to live with me, then I'm not going to get married. I caused you so much trouble up to now. And I wanted to treat him well and serve him and honor him. So he said, well, let's talk about that after you get married. But after he got married, he told us to go and live separately. So I treat my parents well. My wife also treats my parents well. Now it was 60th birthday. My brothers, my older brothers, they live really well. And they have more money than me. But you know, my parents never wore any rings because they never wasted their money or spent their money, anything like that. I'm sure my brothers could have bought it for him, but he never wanted it. So I bought him gold rings, one for my mother and one for my father, and I bought him a Bible. You know, I told you that we didn't need rings. These are the things which the people of the world want, to show themselves, to display themselves. That's why it's not good for Christians to have rings. But I know that rings are not good for my parents, but they are atheists. They don't know the difference of whether it's good or bad. It says that we should make our parents happy. Of course, we shouldn't buy them alcohol or pork or things like that to make them happy. But a ring is nothing bad. It will not harm their health. And they don't use that to show their wealth or anything like that. So
어머님 어떻게 하면 기쁘게 해드릴까 해서 그걸
I just wanted to make them happy.
옛날
So I bought it for them.
처녀가 시집을 가가지고 시아버지가
There was once a
반갑게
young girl who got married, and her father-in-law was a very heavy
어리석은
smoker.
예수 믿읍시다.
He was a smoker, but she was Christian.
세면이는 시아버지
She never said,
사람들이
"Oh, it's bad for you. Don't smoke." But even after they got married, she would always
그래서
bow down to him every morning. Every morning after she woke up, she would bow down to her father-in-law.
그만해라 그만해라.
1 year later,
365일 딱 1년에 딱 찼을 때
he said,
시아버님이
"Don't do this anymore. Here, sit down.
네 소원이
What you desire, what you wish, whatever it is, I'll do it for you."
그때서
At the time, she said,
제 소원 아버님 그 해로운
"Father-in-law,
담배 끊으시고
I don't need anything.
담배 사람들이 만들어준 며느리가
I just want you to stop smoking
예수 믿으시고
and believe in Jesus
저는 소원 안
and go to heaven."
그래?
He said, "Okay,
내가 내 말
I'll do it."
얼마나 며느리 사랑에 녹았는지
He was
그 자리에
completely
며느리 보는 앞에서
melted by
네 담배 대고
his daughter-in-law's love. So he broke his pipe and he stopped smoking and he started going to church. And later he became a better Christian there. And people would call him Jesus. Why? Because he used to always walk with Jesus.
그런 지혜를 가지고
We need this kind of wisdom
부모님이 예수 믿게 한다고
in order to make our parents
본심에서 우러나게
believe in Jesus. We try and force them. And we say, "Don't eat that. Don't do that. That's bad." We should not try and force our parents to do anything. We must melt them with love. And then, even if you don't tell them to follow, they will follow.
그래서 우리 아버지가 우리를 끌을 때도 사랑으로
So even
끌었다 했어요.
when our Father
부모님
leads us,
자식을 끌든지
He
형제를
leads us with love.
다른 누구를
And if you want to
끌든지
lead
사랑으로 끌어요.
our family, our parents,
그 회감날
brothers,
시간에
sisters,
와서
you must lead them in love.
친한
So it's
아들이
my
헤어지고
father's 60th birthday party, and all my brothers and sisters are there, and they bring their gifts. He started opening the gifts from the eldest to the youngest. It became my turn. He opened the gift. There's 2 gold rings and a Bible.
또 성경이 나오고 성경이 나오고 참 기뻐.
He was quite happy.
아버님
And
성경 제가 선물 받았으면
if it had been the past,
난리 날 텐데.
if he received a Bible for a gift, he would have thrown it. But he said, "Oh, a Bible."
그
And he looked very, very happy.
아버님 친구 있는 데서 제 기도를 했어요.
And I prayed for my father in front of all of his friends. Thank you for
건강하게 사시게 해주셔서 참 감사드립니다.
keeping my father healthy up to now.
믿지 않는 아버님
You know,
친구 아버님 앞에서 기도한다는
It's a miracle that I could pray in front of my father and his friends.
그래서 완전히 아버님이 자 며느리도
So,
예수 믿는 며느리 들어
He accepted
들어온데 보니까
me.
예수
He
안 믿는
accepted
며느리 못지않게 잘한다 이 말입니다.
his daughter-in-law, who was
그
Christian,
사랑했어요.
and he really loved us.
아들이나 이 본심이
His heart
하나님을 경외하다 보니까 그렇게 된 것이 이렇게
had not changed. That he knew that I really was loving him and wanted to obey him, but I was being true to my faith, and he knew that.
굉장히
That's why he loved me.
제가 아버님 혼자
So one time when my father was alone in the room, I said, "Father,
그때 교회에서 일주일 동안
I have a wish." At that time, there was a meeting, a special meeting for 1 week with a famous speaker. So I said, "Father, yes, I have only one desire, one wish." What's that?
우리 교회 서울서 유명 강사 목사님
There's a famous pastor who will be speaking
일주일
at our
전에
church, and
헌정만 합니다. 거기 일주일만
there is
참여하시면 제가 죽어도 하냐.
a 1 week gathering.
그러마
We gather
이
in the evening. Will you attend this?
새벽에도 있을
And he
줄
said, "Okay." It was a miracle. He said, "Okay."
그렇게 무섭게
He was such a
사랑 때문에
strict father, but he became melted by love.
참석하는데
And he attended
다른 사람들
Everyone else is being touched by the sermons, but
지식이 많으신 분이
he's so intelligent. And
그 얄팍한 그 설교
when he listened to those sermons,
별로라 말입니다.
it wasn't very
다른
special.
사람들 다 감동받는데 아버님 감동 없어요. 참 그때 이런
At that time,
설교가 쏘였으면
if
우리
this
아버님
message
감동
was given to him, he would have liked it, but there was nothing like that. And
전혀 전도가 되지 않는 거예요.
he heard
아버님이
the whole meeting, and that's it.
나중에 그 뭐라고 하시냐면
But before he died,
돌아가신 분이
he said to me, "Son,
지금 유불
all religions, Christianity, Buddhism, Confucianism,
유교 불교
they've all become corrupt.
예수교 다 타락했으니 너는 너무 빠지지 말라 이
Don't
말이야. 너는 다른 사람
be too serious about it. Just kind of, go to church. Don't be too serious." He always said that. He said, all religions, Christianity, Buddhism, Confucianism, have all been corrupt.
빠지지 말고 적당히 믿으라 이 말입니다.
Don't be too serious about it.
참 아버님,
You have a wife and
시험을
children.
갖다 드리면서 이거 봐.
Don't you have to take care of them?
미쳤지. 이
Think about their
예수님
future.
목숨 거는 걸 봐라 말이야.
He could have showed me
신문에 그 비행을
stories in the
하는
newspaper
거
about
할 말이
all
없어.
the abominations and corruption of Christians. Then I would have nothing to say to him.
같이 얼마나 우리 저 기독교가
Because of those
얼마나
abominable
많아
Christians, how many people are
근데-
left to die?
한 번은 아버님이
My father became.
그 아주 중병에
Very, very
걸려서
sick.
오랫동안 고생하셨는데
He had been sick for a long time, but now he's getting seriously sick. And
갔더니
I received the telegram,
아버님은 벌써
and I went to him, but already he had died.
이 관에다 넣어야 할
And
텐데 내가 안
They have to put him in the coffin, but they couldn't put him in because of me.
그때 얼마나
At the
그때
time,
교회 무슨 그
there was some
집회가 있어가지고 어디 갔다
seminar meeting,
그때도
and that's why I was late.
딱
But when I
그때
arrived,
우연히 가고 싶어서 가는데
he had already passed away.
그때 그런 상황이 일어났어요. 참, 너무
And I couldn't
지났으니까
cry because
눈물이 안 나와요.
I couldn't
너무
believe it.
어느 정도 눈물도
You know,
어느 정도에 나오는 것이지.
If something is too unbelievable, you can't cry. But there was my father. He was not saved, and he had passed away. So I cried, holding my father's hands. I don't know what other people were thinking of crying, but as I held his hands, I thought about how much he worked all his life for his children. All he did was sacrifice himself. How nice if he used his hands to open the Bible and read it and receive eternal life. But all he did was just work. And that's why I was so sad. When people die, people are afraid to go to the room where the body is lying. But I didn't want to be separated from my father, so that night I slept with him. I wasn't scared. People in the world are scared to stay in a room with a dead body, but I stayed with him all night because tomorrow I'll be separated from him forever. He was a father that I did not want to be separated from. We must serve our parents while they're still alive. For once time passes, we can't do anything about it. There's a poem like that. We must serve our parents, honor our parents while they are alive. Because once they pass away, then it'll just be regret. I hope that you'll save your parents now while they're still alive. I hope that you'll not be a dishonorable son like me who lost his father and was not able to save him. So I knew that I realized that I'm a dishonorable son who couldn't even save his own father. I don't know why my father uses me. And when I talk about honoring parents, I don't feel that I should speak about it. There's a poem. Although trees desire to be quiet and stay calm, the wind does not leave them alone. Although children want to serve their parents with all their hearts, the parents do not stay with them forever. When children want to serve and honor their parents, they have already passed away. You know, when you want to serve and honor your parents, already it's too late. They've already passed away. So, while they're still alive, honor them and save them. Now I only have my mother, and I'm living with her, and I'm very grateful for that. What if I'm holding a seminar and my mother passed away? How can I even go to the funeral when I'm holding a seminar? I may be more dishonorable after being dishonorable to my father. But now my mother is with me and living with me. And nowadays my mother-in-law is living with me. And the two mothers are living together in the same house, and it makes me so happy. And they really love each other. And they don't want to be separated from one another. And if they have anything good, they don't even give it to us, to the children. They only give it to each other. It's good to see them like that. So, since I live with two mothers, I'm even more happy. And this is my father's blessing to me. It's bad enough that I lost my father, But instead of that, he gave me another mother, and I can honor and serve her. Let me tell you one more thing. There was once a very dishonorable son. In the old times, there was a custom to throw away their old mother in the mountains and leave them to die. This son also had a good mother, and he was carrying his mother to throw away and let her die in the mountains. And at the time, there are lots of wild animals in the mountains, and there are lots of tigers even. Even my mother told me once that the tiger would come down from a mountain and scratch at the door of the house, and next morning they could see scratch marks. Anyway, this son was taking his mother to leave her there and leave her to die. But while she's sitting on the back of this carrier, she would keep on breaking branches. And he would say, "What are you doing?" But she didn't say anything. She just kept on breaking the branches of pine trees. And he went deep in the mountains so that she could never come home. And she put her down in the middle of the mountain where there's no road. And he practically threw her there and left her alone. Up to then, the mother had said not one word. But at the time, she opened her mouth. "What do you want?" As you can see, this is very deep in the mountains. There are a lot of animals. I'm afraid that you lose your way back home. So it's getting late too. So I broke branches of pine trees all the way here. So just follow the broken pine tree branches and you can go home. Go home and live happily. This is the mother's love. This is also God's love. That mother does not only have that love, but your parents also have that kind of love for all of you. If you reject and dishonor your parents, that visible God, then what God will ever bless those kind of people? Instead of trying to believe in Jesus well, I hope that you will honor your parents. You not try and become servants of the Lord, but first serve your own parents. And just as our Father called Daniel, Joseph, and made them great sons in the world, which save the world, we will also call you and use you as great workers to save this world. So I hope that you will honor and serve your parents and save them while they're still alive. So in the old times, even though people didn't know Jesus, that they honored their parents. So our Father sent them tigers and other animals and helped them. And our Father, who took them from heaven, will also take you to heaven.